The reason is that most of us believe more in lack than in abundance. Most of us believe that there are limited resources and that we have to scrounge and fight for what we get. The majority of people believe in scarcity instead of abundance. Your Christmas gift. Christmas is almost here, and usually most of us get so wrapped up in the stress of buying the right gifts or trying to lose weight before the holidays. So look good in family pictures that we lose sight of what Christmas is all about. This Christmas gift article isn't going to be a rant about how great Christ was or a religious spin on a holiday that is meant to make you feel guilty for not going to church on Sunday instead. Drawing upon the Christmas spirit is going to give you a few pieces of advice that may help you to enjoy life to the fullest, become fully aware of who you are and what the meaning of life is. After all of the spiritual gurus of the past gave us gifts of advice on how to live a happy, productive, fulfilled life, so here is your Christmas gift in the form of powerful advice that hopefully will inspire and help you to enjoy life to the fullest. In this article, we are going to cover the extraordinary things that Christ said to all of us that can inspire you even if you aren't a Christian, one way of being that can transform your life, and how to bolster belief in yourself through the facts about quantum physics. The origins of Christmas date back to around 325 AD, when Constantine, the Roman emperor, wanted his people to get along better and to live in peace and harmony. But he was concerned because there were two factions of people, the pagans and the Christians. The pagans already worshipped their sun god on December 25th. So Constantine tried to make that day the day of Christ's birth, since Christians didn't know when Christ was born anyway. His thinking was that if the pagans and Christians celebrated together on the same day, that they would get along better. At first, Christmas was not fully embraced or even celebrated by Christians until more recently. So although Christmas doesn't exactly have a solid foundation in Christianity, it is celebrated to this day as a time to recognize the birth of Christ and what it means to be Christian. If you look at the Old Testament Bible versus the New Testament, you can clearly see how the message evolved in the Old Testament. God was a jealous, vengeful God that demanded compliance, or else people would be punished in one way or another. God went from being a jealous God that required everyone to be perfect, or else be condemned in the Old Testament, to be much more loving, forgiving and understanding in the New Testament. In like image, it is the evolution of mankind and the evolution of human thought that has brought us to where we are today, and, theoretically speaking, we are evolving from being barbaric, crude beings to being much more refined, kind and compassionate beings who care about others and our environment. So what is the one way of being that can transform your life that was encouraged by Christ and embraced by almost every spiritual guru? There is. The answer is unconditional love. The Beatles had it right all along. All you need is love, but taken a step further. All you need is unconditional love. Unconditional love is loving others, regardless of what they do, who they are, or what they believe. It is all about allowing others to be who they are without judgment or condemnation, and it's about accepting others, even if they have opposing opinions compared to yours on all topics in life. Jesus said to love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you, but how many people follow that advice? Hardly any, even among Christians. Why? The reason is that most of us believe more in lack than in abundance. Most of us believe that there are limited resources and that we have to scrounge and fight for what we get. The majority of people believe in scarcity instead of abundance, and that belief creates tension in our world even to this day. This is the reason for every war there ever was: leaders who believe in scarcity and the people who believe in it too. And when you believe in lack, you believe in fighting against others to protect what you have and to get what you want. And yet Jesus said that if you had faith the size of mustard seed, that you could say to the mountain, move, and it would move. Greg Braden, a 5-time New York Times best-selling author, scientist, educator, and pioneer who bridges the gap between spirituality and science, said that we don't understand that we create our own reality through the power of our thought and feeling. He said that if you want to manifest whatever you want, then you must feel as if your prayer has already been answered. One of the points that he likes to make is from the Lost Gospel of Thomas in verse 106. There were roughly 45 books of the Bible that were purposely kept from us by Constantine and the Council of Nicaea in around 320 AD. The reason why they removed many parts of the Bible was that some of the teachings Jesus said were too empowering, too leading edge. The bottom line was that the leaders didn't want people to know their own true power. So this banned book of Thomas says at verse 106, quote, when you make the two, thought and emotion, as one, you will say to the mountain, move away, and the mountain will move away, unquote. So Jesus taught that when you marry thought with emotion, that you can affect creation. He was trying to say that your thoughts are powerful and that, if you have even just a little faith, you could move mountains. In other words, use the power of your thought and emotion to create your reality. Braden says to use your thought and the power of your heart when you pray or ask the universe for what you want. It was Christ who taught this to us, but it was removed from the westernized Bible. The point is that if we don't believe in abundance ourselves and our ability to create our own reality, then it is very difficult to give others unconditional love. When you think that others can take away everything from you and you are powerless over them, then it's difficult to even want to be loving and caring to others. But when you embrace who you really are and the power that you have within yourself to create your reality, regardless of your government and regardless of anyone else, then you will be your natural abundant self. Then you will embrace your true power, and only then can you give unconditional love to everyone else. The basis of life is freedom, the purpose of life is joy, and the result of life is expansion. You can embrace unconditional love and you don't have to fight others for anything you want. That's what Christ wanted you to understand, and that's what this Christmas message is all about. Give yourself and others a gift of unconditional love. Give yourself and others the gift of forgiveness, compassion, and understanding. After all, according to Dr. Dispenza and other experts on quantum physics, we are all connected, and when you see hurting another as hurting yourself, then you're much more likely to be loving, kind, and considerate to others. It is really unconditional love that is missing from many people's lives. But what does it really mean to be unconditionally loving? Does it mean to just tolerate others, avoid them, and do your best to mind your own business? Or is it a more active, unconditional type of love? Another scripture says, "Of what good is it for you to love others who are loving you, even those in the world do that?" In other words, it's easy to love those loving you, but it's hard to love those who don't love everyone, regardless, and you'll be a much happier person. You must embrace unconditional love for all people, if you are to embrace who you really are. How do you do this from a practical level? Love your kids, even when they drive you nuts. Love your neighbor, even if they do things that irritate you. Love all people of all walks of life, because it feels better to love than it does to hate. Let that person cut you off in traffic. Keep your cool when anyone wants to fight. Don't let the words of others anger you. Dr. Wayne Dyer once said that you cannot give away that which you do not possess. He was referring to anger. You cannot get angry at another if it is not already in your heart. In other words, if you get angry at someone, you are an angry person. It is within you. If it is not in you, you cannot give it away. Work on yourself first, to remove the anger and all other negative emotions, and then you'll be able to create a reality that is much more to your liking. But does unconditional love mean that you should allow others to walk all over you? No, it doesn't. The first person that you need to love unconditionally is yourself, just as a parent is encouraged to put on their mask first in the event of an emergency on a flight. Likewise, you must take care of yourself first before you can help anyone else. Resist the urge to sacrifice yourself for others, because eventually you'll wear yourself out and be no good to anyone, including yourself. It's a lot harder to be unconditionally loving than we realize, and when it comes to a mate, it can be particularly challenging to give them unconditional love when we've been so conditioned to be conditional in a lot of relationships. Couples keep a silent score in their heads as to what the other person has done wrong and who has done more wrong than the other. It can become a power struggle between them that can silently undermine and ultimately destroy the relationship. With regard to a relationship, how far should you go in giving the other one unconditional love? Only you can answer that the general rule is to give as much as you can, but don't ever let anyone take advantage of your unconditionally loving mindset. The ironic thing is that usually the more unconditional love that you give your partner, the more they are going to unconditionally love you back, so you wouldn't even have to worry about it. All of us would love to be in an unconditionally loving relationship. It allows you to be who you want to be, but still have a partner, and when both partners unconditionally love and respect one another, their relationship happiness level will be off the charts. Concerning others outside of our relationship, does unconditional love mean that you just tolerate others? No, it means that you see the divinity inside of each human being on earth, respect them fully, and see them for who they really are. When you see the best in others, the best is all you'll see. As a final word of advice in this article, the last thing we're going to discuss is something that you've probably heard before, but is worth considering because it proves scientifically just how powerful you truly are. It was Dr. Joe Dispenza who said, quote, "According to Heisenberg's uncertainty principle, we never know where the electron is going to appear in the electron cloud, yet from nothing comes something." This is why quantum physics is so exciting and unpredictable. The electron is not always physical matter. Rather, it exists as the energy or as the probability of a wave. It is only through the act of observation by an observer that it appears, unquote. This is called the observer effect when you are not observing at the subatomic level. Everything is a wave of possibility. When you do observe, you bring the non-physical wave into particulate matter and you create reality. The implications for this are huge. Imagine if you were taught in public school since you were 5 or so years old that you were a powerful creator and able to create your own reality, and that all you had to do was to believe in what you wanted and you could achieve it. Imagine how much better life would be for all of us if we all fully understood just how powerful we are and how to master ourselves and our universe. Quantum physics brings up questions that are so profound and dichotomous to what we are taught in schools that they had to suppress. The information from the public uninformed public is less easy to control, and knowledgeable public wouldn't put up with all the shenanigans of corrupt governments. An empowered public would understand that they are much more powerful than any government. One who is connected to source energy is more powerful than millions who are not, says Abraham. The point is that you are a powerful spiritual being having a human existence. You create your reality through the marrying of your thoughts and emotion, and you are unlimited in who you can be, what you can do, and what you can have. That is this Christmas gift message for you.